Me? Awesome. Thank you guys so much for hopping on the call tonight. I am so excited and absolutely honored to have our guest tonight, Colleen Curtice. Colleen and I met a couple months ago, just like super randomly. I was online. I don't even know what I was doing, but I came across Colleen's profile and I instantly was like, oh my gosh, I feel like this girl and I could be like best friends if we knew each other in person. Totally the same style. And I just like instantly fell in love with how she was posting about her business and what she was writing in the content of her posts. And so I followed her and added her as a friend. And a few days later, I was like, I had to send her a message. I was like, girl, I am girl crushing on you. I love what you're putting out there. And it's funny because she wrote back and said, that's so funny because I just said the same thing about you to one of my coaches and told her to follow you. So that, like, since then, I've been following her, and I asked her a few weeks ago to go ahead and, or if she'd be willing to host a team call for us. So just a little bit about her accolades really quick. She started in July of 2013. In 2015, she was an elite coach, number 85 in the network. And this week, she is 7-star qualifying. So incredible, incredible. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Colleen, and take it away.
Hi, guys. I'm still for my workout here, so I'm drinking lots of water, still catching my breath. But this is my favorite call in the whole wide world to do because it's a topic that not a lot of people speak on, or they don't take the time to kind of dive into actually talking about mastering your mindset. We hear think positive all the time. We hear all the time that you need to master your mindset. But I, quite frankly, became obsessed with this topic because if you really stop to think about it, all the same trainings for the most part are out there. Everyone can learn how to grow a successful Beachbody business. If you want it, you're going to do it regardless of the trainings. When I started in 2013, there were no Zoom calls. There were no getting started right trainings. There were no Emerald to Diamond. We didn't have any of that. So I literally had to go, how am I going to learn how to grow this? And what do we all do? We Google it. So if your coach ever tells you to Google it, we really mean it. But so why aren't more people successful if all that material is out there? And that's when it dawned on me. It's really because we're holding ourselves back due to self-doubt and all the negative self-talk and all the self-limitations and all the stories that we tell ourselves, right? So if I wanted to create a team, I convinced myself that I had to truly understand what this mindset thing was all about. So when I do these calls, I like to share a little bit about my background story, and then I go into the topic of mastering your mindset. And again, I'm really passionate about this, so I really hope by the end of this, you guys have questions for me. And it doesn't need to be about mastering my mindset. It can just be about anything at all that you wanted to know about coaching or my journey. And if you know me, I don't sugarcoat it. I'm kind of straightforward because I don't have time to sugarcoat it. That's what I always say. So when I share my story, the reason why I share it is because often people will look at coaches who have seen success with this business and they just think that it kind of fell into our lap and it's been easy. And what I want to share with you guys is you don't understand the struggle that you're not special when you struggle. I'm not special when I have success. Like every single person faces the exact same challenges in one way or another. At some point in their journey, we all face the same struggles. And it's the ones that are willing to look at every single struggle and challenge as an opportunity and a test. I'm personally not religious, but I highly believe in a strong power from the universe. And for me, every single time that a challenge, I want you to literally picture this. Picture the challenge that just got thrown into your lap and you're just like, what the hell? Why is this here? Why is this happening to me? We call that the victim role. And that's kind of just what we do. It's human nature. You're like, why on earth would this be happening? Everything happens for a reason, but why would this happen to me, right? And so now I've learned that when that happens and when it's in front of me, that's the universe testing you, saying, hey, you said you want to be really successful in life. You really want this coaching thing, right? You want X, Y, Z. So you got to show me that you're really willing to work for it. And when life gets hard and business gets hard, you need to push back harder. And that's like all the mojo that I teach my coaches. Because if you can get that part down, hitting diamond and hitting emerald and hitting success club, that's just showing up every day and sharing your story, right? But it's all the things that float around in our mind that truly matter before any of the other action things. So my story. I'm 30. I just got married. I'm approaching my almost 3-year coach anniversary. And originally, I grew up on the East Coast. Very different than where I am right now, which is 3,000 miles away in Northern California in Lake Tahoe. So no offense if anyone lives on the East Coast, but it's very different. It's kind of like 2 different planets. And so when I came out to California, I was like, wait a second. There's like people out here who practice positive thinking and they live out their dreams. And there's like, I totally understand where hippies and tree huggers come from now. Like, it's totally different out here. And I just loved the vibe of actually taking a second to stop and breathe. Because the way that I was raised, and the reason my work ethic is so strong, because my parents are amazing, and East Coast just has that straight hustle. That's why, like, Boston and New York, it's just like, go, 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 go. We're just raised to think that you go to school, you have an awesome resume, then you probably go to graduate school, and then you probably get another certification after that, and then you get a job, and then you have a salary, and then you get married, and you have kids, and you buy a house, and you get old, and that's just kind of life. Like, I truly, honestly thought that there was going to be no fun and nothing else in between. So when I went to work every day in my corporate job for 6 years, I felt truly stuck, but I didn't even know there was another option. So when I moved out to California, I was like, whoa. Okay, so I transferred my Verizon job, but it was a completely different lifestyle. And unfortunately, when I transferred my job out to the West Coast, I ended up working for a really horrible boss. It went from me working and managing a multi-million-dollar store at the age of 24 to going into work every day feeling like this big. And this boss stressed me out so much that I literally had ulcers rotting through my stomach. Like, you know when you get anxious and your stomach starts turning? 24/7, 100 times worse than you could ever imagine. So I caused ulcers in my stomach. So that's actually how I found Shakeology. So for a year and a half, I was so stressed out. My husband, then boyfriend, he actually left me for a little bit. He's like, I love you, but I call him Mr. Rainbows and Butterflies. He's California born and raised, very different thinking. He's like, I love you, but you're just so Debbie Downer that I don't know what to do with you. So I'm going to give you a little time to yourself. And so I lost my boyfriend. I lost my job. I kind of lost everything. Everything started to crumble. And the reason I lost my job was because that horrible boss I was working for, she didn't like me. And we just always were butting heads. She felt threatened by me. And so she transferred me to a store that was closing. So I thought I was getting away from this manager. I was all excited. And here I come into work. I've given my whole last 6-year career to, and, oh, I'm sorry, your store is closing. And I'm like, excuse me, what? So imagine, you guys hear these stories about people getting laid off. I never thought in a million years I would be part of that statistic. And let's be real, Verizon Wireless is not missing out on any money. But corporations, they will cut corners where they can, and they will pay someone less to do my job if they can. And that's just reality. I'm not hating on the corporate world, but it's just cutthroat. That's what it is. So after losing that job, I was like, what am I going to do? And I made a commitment to myself that I was not going to go back to that life because I felt very victimized. I felt that I went to school. I played college volleyball. I got the scholarship. I did all the things that our moms and dads want us to do. And I showed up every day and I gave this job my all. So what the heck? Like, why do I deserve this? So that's when I decided I'm going to do it on my own. And I had to get a little sassy about it. I had to that was my why. I seriously, every single day, you have to keep adding wood to your fire, right? You have to keep fueling that fire. If you just expect that you're going to go through life and that everything's just going to happen, I have bad news for you. It's just not going to happen. You have to constantly be adding wood to your fire. And for me, I think that's my mindset. So what's really cool about what we do as coaches is our entire business and our entire mission is based on personal growth. You will grow emotionally. You will grow mentally. You will grow physically. You'll become stronger and healthier and financially. I could be biased, but I truly think that this is the opportunity that gives like no other. There are many other companies that you can go and earn money. There are many other companies that you can go and get community, but there's it's very rare. I don't think anything else exists like Team Beachbody, where you can truly change your life in all the ways we want to. So when I started to see this possibility of what I could do if I would start to take the advice from my mentors of mastering my mindset, I was like, oh, I got to do it. I just got to do it. So if you think it's hocus pocus, I'm going to ask you guys to follow this and try it. And just like working out, it's going to take time, and you have to build up the muscle. You got to build up the brain, because everything that you have said to yourself in your mind, everything that we grew up on, and all of our beliefs that we were raised with, that's really hard to change as a grown adult. Very hard to change. No one's ever told you, right? Tomorrow morning when you wake up, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? Are you like, oh, snooze button. Oh, I don't want to get in the shower. Oh, I don't want to do my workout. Oh my God, I have to bring the kids to school. Oh, I spilled my Shakeology. Oh my God, I'm at Success Club 2. Oh my God, like that's what we do, right? If we stop to think about it, that's the first thing. Like when you open your eyes, you're like, I have to do this and I'm negative, and we don't even realize it. So I started reading books. I went to webinars. And if you study successful people, what is the vibe that they're putting out there? They're practicing good thinking. They're talking about the struggles that they're overcoming. It's not that they're not experiencing any challenges, but they're practicing good thinking and always finding a different perspective. I share this piece of my story with you guys because it's real life. So I've already told you I lost my job before, right? So now I'm going to share with you guys that I was a year into coaching, and my husband was diagnosed with testicular cancer. And I share this with you because a lot of things happen in the coach community. You're going to hear stories all the time, and I hope nothing, tragic ever happens, but it's life. Life wants to be crazy. And so most people, when life gets hard, what do they tell their coach and their team? Hey guys, this is going on right now. I'm going to go deal with this. Coaching is just not going to be what I focus on. And I challenged myself when I found out what was going on with my husband to have that good thinking perspective. And so I came up with the brilliant idea that I was going to push back harder. And because my husband was going through that, I was going to show up for my team every single day, and that was greatly going to inspire them and many other people. So if I decided to just say, Beachbody is going to be on the side, like what was I going to do? Go be mad at cancer and go like sit with my husband? I can't change cancer, right? I can't change what's going on. But what I can do is I can focus on what I can control, which is this amazing business and this amazing gift that I have. So if you think something is hard in your life, it's the universe testing you, and I'm going to challenge you guys to push into your business harder. Why? Because what happens when you work out? What happens when you read your PD? What happens when you get on these team calls and you commit to events? You feel empowered, you feel human connection, you're excited, and your mojo is flowing. So don't run away from the business when life gets hard. And it's not easy to do that. Trust me, I know. And so I want to share with you guys some of my tips on exactly, when life gets a little crazy, what do you do? The best tip that I can give you is that you really need to catch yourself in the moment when you're having a bad day or a negative moment, or you're having that victim moment of why me. I want you to turn it around and be the victor. Because all day long, 98% of the world plays the victim role. And there's 2% of the world that's wired to get, I don't know if I can swear, but shit done, okay? You can get shit done. You have that choice, and that is awesome. And guess who's the only person who's telling you that you can't? You. Not your kids, not your husband, not your wife, not your school. Like, you're the only person that is not making this happen. And so if you can have a strong mind to the point that you've made up your mind, you've made the decision, and you'll be able to slowly work with your brain and rewire your brain to catch yourself in those negative moments. It comes from being very self-aware, though. So again, I want you to think in the morning when you wake up, just kind of take note of what's floating around in your head. If you're not doing your personal development in the morning, maybe that's what you need to do. When you take a shower, when you drive. I honestly try not to touch my Facebook, my emails, or my phone, which is really hard to do as a coach, until I have some positive something going on in my day. And if you can build up that habit, it's really going to change your day. So then I want to fast forward in my story a year later. So because I dove into my business and I was like, hey guys, this is what's going on, but this is my plan. This is what I'm going to focus on because I can control this right now. And I can't control what's going on over here, but I focused on my business. I doubled my income. I became a 5-star diamond. I was earning 6 figures. Like, just because the universe put that test in front of me and I pushed back, and if you guys have heard from Samantha about my 10X Success Academy, I put in 10 times the effort. If you just make a post, that's like 1X effort. If you make a post and then people are liking your post and then you message that person, that's like 3X the effort. And then if you build a relationship with that person and you keep digging and digging and digging, that's what we're talking about when we're saying 10X effort. You showing up every day and doing your post and doing your PD. Good, that's 1X effort. We need to 10X that. So again, I keep forgetting to go back to my story, but come this December 2015, just 2 months ago, my husband was re-diagnosed that the cancer had come back and attacked his lungs. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, universe, you already tested me. We just got married 6 months ago. Like, what do you want from me? And so I had to rise again and say, okay, I guess I really got to show everyone what we're made of, because I had to be strong for my husband, my team. Like, I just had to. What else was I going to do? I'm a go-getter. I can't back down to a challenge. So it was end of year qualifications. It was, I was pushing for elite. It was the holidays. It's the hardest month of the year, like all that crap, right? New Year's was coming. And I had to move. I had to move in 2 weeks and move 4 hours away to go to his treatments. And then we had to do 9 weeks of chemo. My grandmother passes away on New Year's Day. I have to fly 3,000 miles across country. And I'm just sharing all this with you. So you're just like, probably, oh my God, is it ever going to end? But the only reason I was able to conquer any of that was because I mastered my mindset. So tomorrow morning, if you were to wake up and something crazy happens, do you crumble or do you conquer? What's it going to be? And you have the choice. I'm sure you guys always look up to successful coaches and you say, man, they're so inspiring. They seem so unstoppable, like they can just do anything they want. And it's honestly because they wake up every day and they just keep going. They don't analyze every little thing of why did this happen? What if this happens? They have their, I'm a dog mom, so I say squirrels a lot. They have their blinders on and they have their vision and their goal. And all of the little distractions and squirrels that come into our life, do they distract you? Do they derail you? It just means your mind's not strong enough yet, and you have to stay focused. Just like doing insanity on day 1, it sucks. The first week sucks. The second week kind of sucks. It never really gets easier, right? But by day 22, you're stronger and you're working at it. So the cool thing about every single crossroad and challenge that you're going to experience in life and business, you have the choice. How are you going to see it? And that is the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. So when I'm having a really bad day, want to know what I do? I put myself in Carl Deichler's shoes, because when that man wakes up, he has a brick on his chest and so much pressure from all the things that Carl Deichler has to do and be. If he doesn't want to show up for the day, do you think he has that option? No. And you need to treat your business the exact same way. We don't have bosses and we don't have people, if you have a job where you go into every day, if you slack off, what happens? Your boss is like, hey, what are you doing? Get with it, right? We don't have that. So you need to act as if you're the CEO. So here's probably like my favorite part about all of this. And if you're taking any notes, which a lot of you are, it's awesome. I love it. I want to share with you guys why a strong mind is crucial. And this is where I probably had my biggest aha moment in terms of being a coach. A strong mind is crucial because when you have a strong mind, you do not look to others for validation. You know what you want, you say what you want, and you get what you want, and you go after what you want. And it doesn't matter if this person approves or if this audience approves. It doesn't matter. You're just going to go and be yourself. And do you know how awesome that is to wake up in the morning, being finally 30 years old, feeling like I can be me? Could you just imagine if we all lived in a world where we didn't allow everything else to affect us? It's like the biggest breath of fresh air. But you have to be willing to work at it every single day. So if you think it's hocus pocus and mastering your mindset is gibberish, that's fine, but I'm sure that you can agree with me in understanding that if you're strong up here, you don't need anyone else's validation. You're just going to do it. and you're just going to show up every day. And guess what happens when you put in 10 times the effort? The results come. So I want to talk about empowering yourself a little bit. So we all need mojo, and we all need to find a way to keep our fire burning and to keep our bucket full, however you want to talk about it. And in this business, there are so many things that you can do. And I'll be honest with you, when I was a new coach, it's not that I didn't have direction from my coach. It's just that the coaching world is so different now. I didn't know what else to do besides 3 things. Share on social media, drink my shake, do my workout, and read personal development. I focused on what I could control. So I was like, all right, I have a lot of personal growth to go through. I have a lot to learn. I'm just going to shove my nose in a book because I don't know what else I should be doing right now. And so I went through a lot of personal development. And for me, that's what fills my bucket. I committed to every single event, put on credit cards what I needed to. I'm not telling you to max out your credit cards here. Maybe I am, but just get there, okay? People always say, oh yeah, I'll go when my business gets to $500 a week, or I'll go to this event when I get to $1,000 a week. What people don't understand is that you are your business. Your business is never going to get there unless you're investing in yourself to get there. Does that make sense? So someone once told me that you have to spend a little to make a little, or a lot, okay? I did the math. I made a lot of money last year, and a lot of money means like I made 6 figures, and I'm really excited about that because I didn't even make that at my corporate job. And I share that with you because I invested 40% of my income back into my business or myself. 40%. Do you guys think that I have $800 to fly to Super Saturday on April 2nd coming up? No, I really don't. Like, who has $800 to fly? I'm going because I'm going to be surrounded by like-minded people, and that event is going to it's going to fill my bucket. We crave human connection. And I always tell my coaches that if you need to feel empowered, you need to be connected to the community in some way, shape, or form. And so for me to feel empowered and feel confident, I'm the kind of coach who's going to dive in head first to an opportunity or a challenge. And I'm going to scrape my knees up. I'm going to be bleeding by the time I stand back up. I'm going to knock some teeth out. Like, that's my thrill. That's how I fill my bucket. I love to dive in head first. You're probably not as crazy as me because I don't know, I'm just like an extreme thrill seeker apparently, but you need to empower yourself in terms of moving forward. So if your coach has been telling you that you need to make a video, a 3-minute video telling your story, just do it. Because guess what? The first video is going to suck, and it's going to be so bad that maybe you never even share it. But if you never do it, you're never going to get better. So maybe that's your taking one step in the right direction. And so I guarantee that by the time you finish recording that first 3-minute video, how are you going to feel? You're going to be like, oh my God, I absolutely hated that, but I did it. It's the same thing as sharing before and after pictures. So many people are afraid to share their story and before pictures and after.
Oh my God, that was intense.
For many reasons. Oh, I don't know if I can you hear me? Yeah, okay. I was like, whoa, what just happened? Oh yeah, so people are afraid to share their before pictures or their story, and I tell them, I say, you know what's really funny is that their head is so worried about the squirrels and the what ifs and the haters and the judgment, but what they forget is the other side of the perspective. And every single time that you share a before and after picture or something awesome that you've worked hard for, what do you get? Awesome job, Sam, you look great, high five, I wish I could do that, you go girl, you look awesome. Like, why would you be afraid to do that? If you need empowerment, if you need the support that you're looking for, those are the things that you need to do. That's putting it out to the universe so that you can get those vibes back. But if you're going to just sit in a little corner and just be scared and here we talk about failure, be scared of failure, then it's going to be really difficult for you to ever feel empowered. So next, we get to talk about fear and failure. And I have a lot of mottos that I live by as a new coach because, again, I did a lot of PD. But if you really break down what this means, you'll understand. Everything we want is on the other side of fear. Think about it. Think about what you want and what's holding you, and like, why don't you have it? Probably because of fear. Maybe you need a little bit more time, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be because we're holding ourselves back due to fear. And what's really awesome is when you understand that fear is just emotional, it's not tangible, I can't touch it, I can't see it. No one else sees it besides you, yourself, and up here. Maybe you feel it in your stomach, in your sweaty palms or whatever. But fear is emotional. So if you can focus on mastering your mindset, the fear is probably, it's going to be lessened. And I actually have a little secret for you guys. There's actually a cure to fear, and it's action. Think about standing on the edge of a cliff, okay? If you are petrified to jump off that cliff, if you wait longer and longer and hesitate and wait, what happens? You end up either not doing it or the fear builds up more. But if you just rip the Band-Aid off and just go ahead and do it, then your fear is cured. You did it. You faced the fear. And the other part of this is a lot of coaches don't sign up, or maybe coaches don't take the next step in their business because they're afraid of failing. Well, I'm calling you out on the BS story. So you're afraid of failing in this business. Still to this day, no one's ever been able to tell me how you actually fail at this business. Because if you never hit Success Club in this business, and if you never show up to a team call, does Carl Deichler call you up and say, yo, you suck, I'm canceling your account? No. So stop telling me you're afraid of failing, because the only time you fail is when you quit or don't try. Okay, I have to add that in there because I can't give you too much credit if you're not willing to try. So this whole I'm so afraid to fail thing, that's how an unsuccessful person thinks. So now we're going to go to the other side of what a successful person thinks. And I want you to say, I want to fail. I'm going to accept failure. Because if you don't go after the failure rate and the mistakes, you're never going to learn. You're going to be in the same exact little box and you're never going to empower yourself. So the fear of failing, let's replace the word failure with the word stumble. And that's not my thing, that's Mindy Wender's. If you replace the word failure with the word stumble, how silly does it sound when you say, my biggest fear in this business is stumbling? That's silly. You guys have to embrace and accept the stumbling. I mean, you can't fail. So why do we even say I'm afraid to fail? So another thing about failure is, let's say I didn't hit elite last year. The year before, I missed elite by like the stupidest, smallest thing, okay? I hit premier and I was really proud of it, but I was like, oh, I was so close to elite. Am I a failure because I didn't hit elite? Was I a failure the year before that when I didn't hit premier? No, it's just a delay, guys. If you didn't hit elite or your goals this past 2015, guess what? You have this whole year to do it, and it's only a delay. But if you don't show up every single day and face the same fears that were lingering around in 2015, you're probably not going to get to your goal. 2016 is going to be a repeat of 2015. So try new things, empower yourself, fill your bucket, and every single time you have a challenge, I'm going to challenge you guys to see it in a different perspective. You know how you always see those lists of what a successful person is, what a successful person does and says? I'm one of those people who is like, okay, I want to be like that. And then they have the list of the unsuccessful person. I'm like, I don't want to be like that. You have to get a little obsessed with what does a successful person do and just emulate it. Not rocket science. This business is easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. I guarantee that if you guys were to share your story unapologetically, consistently, relentlessly, all the time on social media, without really you have to share the emotion and just put it all out there. I guarantee that you're going to be inspiring a lot of people. And that's usually the biggest roadblock for people, is just sharing their story because they're afraid to fail or the judgment. So here is my good thinking perspective on putting your story out there. So I love hair and makeup. And it's so funny to me how much hate there is around like celebrities or famous people. So I want you guys to go to a YouTube video for someone that you love, even if it's like a music video or something. And I want you to look at how many thumbs up there are, and then notice how many thumbs down there are. So one of my makeup girls has like 4 million views and it has 2 million thumbs up and like 2,000 thumbs down. That's pretty awesome that she has like 2 million thumbs up and 2,000 thumbs down. The bigger you get, the more influence that you have, the more followers that you have, the bigger audience you have, the bigger your downers are going to be. So openly accept that it's going to happen. If you guys go, to Amy Silverman's page or Tara Carr's page or Megan Ewaldson's page, I mean, they all have people that are just sitting there and trolling the internet. So imagine if they just allowed these, like you just delete them and block them, delete them and block them. When they get you down, what do? You stand right back up. So that's my perspective on, I'm very fortunate in 3 years I've had one person talk down to me, and he pissed me off for a few hours, and I blew some steam off, and then guess what? I was back to normal in a few hours. So when something gets you down, a successful person will get right back up. So you can't stay down and out for 20 days or 20 hours. Focus on maybe 20 minutes, and then you'll get it down to 20 seconds. So the faster you can get up and the more you can build up that muscle and that mental toughness, the more successful you're going to be. And then I just make some personal development recommendations for you guys. So your personal development is like your little toolbox. And I'm going fast, but I get excited. Personal development is like your little toolbox that you carry around at all times. And so if you're not constantly putting the tools in the toolbox, when life gets hard, you're not going to know what to do. If I didn't learn about my mind, and if I didn't learn about leadership, when all these challenges come my way, like, how am I going to know how to fix the problem? We're definitely, when I was a coach, I was 27, and I had never done any type of self-education ever in terms of like mindset or positivity or nutrition or anything. Like, I thought reading was Harry Potter. I swear to you. Like, I was not a big reader. And it's funny because my mom's a teacher. She wants to kill me when I say that. But so I saw this as an opportunity to really combat life and be like, all right, I'm opening a business. I have to lead these people. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to go read what successful people say to do, and that's what I did. So some of my favorite books, I know You Are a Badass is kind of old in this business, but it is still a book that I still haven't unpacked. Normally I have it right here, but it's still a book that I use all the time. It's highlighted, I have tabs in it, and I pull from it all the time. Also, if you're a coach wanting to grow this business and change lives, personal development needs to be in your challenge groups and in your posts. You need to bleed personal growth. People need to see you changing. They need to see you growing. They need to see you leading. That's all part of the job. Another book that I absolutely love is No Excuses by Brian Tracy. That was the book that taught me that no one's going to grow my income for me, not even my team. I had to take full responsibility for everything. Everything. Another one, the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. That's kind of a new one for me. Thinking for a Change by John C. Maxwell. And then the last one that is not a book, because to be honest, I read so many books that I started to get really bored. I was like, I'm kind of bored of just sitting in the quiet, and I don't like Audible because I need to be able to take notes. So it didn't really work for me, but I like podcasts because it's more like conversational. So I listened to Entrepreneur on Fire. That is the most badass podcast that there is. Bonnie Engel taught me about that one a year ago. So when I'm driving, like, you bet, guys, if there's any moment I have to slap on personal development, my day is filled with it. It is constantly filled. And the reason I love Entrepreneur on Fire is because he doesn't bring on entrepreneurs to talk about how awesome they are. He brings on entrepreneurs to talk about their most difficult entrepreneurial moment, their biggest aha moment. And what I got out of this podcast was that I'm just not failing enough. Like, I hear these people's stories about starting a business and losing their entire house and their life savings and billions of dollars. And we're over here like, oh, I'm scared to share my story. And I'm like, that is failure. Like, that is risk. I need to go all in with this. So I've learned so much from these successful entrepreneurs of how hard you have to fail and be willing to face it dead on and say, I got this, and get back up. Is it easy? No. Because if it was easy, everyone would do it. So that is my spiel on mastering your mindset. And I know and believe that if you focus on every little thought that you allow, that's the key, every little thought that you allow into your brain, you'll become unstoppable. And all the little roadblocks that you feel like are shutting you down, you can actually push those aside and get through the next thing. So that's my craziness.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I have so many notes here, and I can't wait to re-listen to it again to kind of catch the stuff that I couldn't write down. I know I have a couple questions for you, but I want to give everybody else a chance to ask questions if they have any. So if anybody has any, feel free.
I hope you guys have some, because I always feel embarrassed when I do that whole pump up thing and then people just stare at me. So.
I have a question.
Sure. Hi.
Hey. So actually I had a phone call earlier with a friend of mine, and this is kind of off topic, but it's about challenge group. And I don't know how you do your challenge groups, but I've been encouraging her to do my 21-day challenge next month, but she currently has the Insanity. Yeah, and she is following that and following her own nutrition plan, and is also, like, she seems like it's working for her is what she said. I offered her about the 21-day challenge pack because of the portion controls, the Shakeology, and she's like, well, this seems like it's just working for me, just like what I'm doing. How do you get people to look outside the box and realize that there's much more than that? Like, I'm going to let her be part of the challenge group, because I want her to be exposed to more. I want to expose her to the culture even more so. But how can I get her to realize the potential of, like, the wonderful benefits of Shakeology and get her into the next level and get her out of the, like, oh, well, this is working for me?
Right. That's actually an awesome question. So first I want to say I think it's great that you're adding her still to your challenge group, because what we don't want to do is, like, close our doors and be like, oh, you're not buying anything. So I am in the mentality that if I let everyone into my world, which is my challenge groups, even my team page sometimes, eventually they're going to become a coach on my team. So I even take it beyond that. That's what I'm thinking. And so my first recommendation for you is to ask good questions for her. So maybe she said it's working for her. So just good leaders ask great questions. That's what John C. Maxwell teaches us, right? So even if she isn't going to buy something right now, in some way, shape, or form, that could be an amazing seed that you planted. So don't pressure it too much. But if you do want to take some steps, you could ask her questions like, when's the last time you completed Insanity? And let's assume maybe she never, because most people don't complete it, right? They're just like, they start and then they stop. When's the last time you completed Insanity? And how did it go for you? What were your struggles or your obstacles? And so I honestly just keep asking them questions in a conversational way. I put myself in their shoes as well. So if it didn't work out for her so well last time, I say, I don't know if you guys know the I feel, I felt, I found method, but so I feel that, well, sometimes I change them around. I feel that when I was a brand new challenger or a brand new coach, I really didn't know what to eat. Before Insanity, we didn't really have any meal plans or anything like that. So I felt like I wasn't getting the best results. I was doing the workouts. I kind of fell off. But what I found now is that being in a challenge group, drinking my Shakeology, I finished my programs. Now we have the portion control containers. For me as a coach, is your name Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah. I like to say the names. For me as a coach, Sarah, like, my goal is I'm not trying to work with, excuse my French, but half-ass people. Like, I want people who are here for the ultimate total solution, the big results. They want, to shed the 20 pounds, or they want the 6-pack, or they want to lose 100 pounds, like whatever it is. So I'm sharing with them what I do as a coach. So you could say, let's say her name's Sarah. Hey, Sarah, what I do as a coach is my goal is to help you get the best results possible. What I always recommend to people is XYZ. We say what we recommend. And so if you feel that Insanity is working for you, totally fine. But I just want to make sure that you have the plan and the things that you need. And here's the kicker about Shakeology. This is what I say. Most people fall off their diet plans. Why? They crave bad food. They slip with this. And we all know how much Shakeology combats cravings. I could word vomit all the other things that Shakeology does, but that's my go-to. Most people fall off their plan and don't maintain the results because they don't use Shakeology. And so I'll say to them, you can absolutely try it without it, but here's what I recommend because I want to get you the best results.
That's perfect. Yeah, and actually, like, some of the stuff you said is what I did ask those questions. I'm like, I want you to be part of it. You are doing Insanity. what has worked for me. And I said, ultimately I'm here to support you. I want you to be part of this. And I think having her be part of it, she said that she wants to be around like the challenge group because she needs that. She wants to be around supportive people. But I think the more she's around it, and I mentioned about the sample packet, all that kind of stuff. So I think the stuff that you told me are perfect, and I will definitely take that with me for my future customers. And also to like just in general to what was I going to say? To always like mention about the Shakeology and to let them know how it makes me feel. And to not also like let people be like, oh, well, you can't be part of my group because you're not purchasing something. I guess it's based on each person's story and trying to make it work for them. But I also don't want like half-assed people either. So like at the end of the month, I will say I'm looking for serious people who are going to invest in themselves.
Yeah. Like if people start asking me questions about like, why is Shakeology better than this? I don't even give it the time of day. Like I have people that pop up all those charts all the time and I'm like, no one cares about that. It's like, I could make one of those up. And so for me, I'm like, look, I've been drinking Shakeology for 3 years. It changed my life. I know it's the best thing on the market. You are welcome to pick whatever you want. You came to me for advice. I'm giving you my advice. And I leave it on the table and I can say almost all of them come back.
Thank you so much for answering my questions.
You're welcome. Good question.
As Tony Robbins would say, the most certain person in the conversation is always the one who's right. So if you're the most certain about it, they'll see it.
Never heard that. That's good.
Anybody else have any questions or anything they want to add?
Did you
I have a question. Hey. So I am kind of struggling with getting people to be engaged in my groups. So like I've done 2 groups now, and it seems like I'm the only one that's really like posting and commenting. And do you have any advice as for how to get people engaged?
Challenge groups are kind of hit or miss. So I've been through, when I first started, oh my God, I think back, I used the challenge group guides. I did 16, like 21 day T25 groups. Like I did 10 weeks. Now we don't do that anymore, but I think back and some of them were so painful. So sometimes you just kind of have to reinvigorate by starting a new group, or to be honest, my best recommendation is to pair up with another coach or maybe even 3 or 4 coaches so that you guys have at least a bigger pool where maybe you might get 1 or 2 people engaging. I know that there's so many top coaches that do new groups all the time. I just personally decided to do one ongoing online wellness community because in my 3 years, so many people have fallen off, and so many people that have fallen off have actually even become coaches now. So if I was always doing new groups all the time, I would leave and forget and miss all those people. And it's just so annoying for me to keep making new groups. That's personally what works for me. So if I always have an ongoing community, I'm almost guaranteed to always have a killer challenge group because I'm just always adding new people. And my new coaches get added to it, and that's their first month of coaching in my wellness group. Because if they're inviting people to like a challenge group that's kind of quiet or new for their first month, they might feel discouraged. So maybe that's an idea that you guys can try, but don't take it personal. I've had many challenge groups that have just flopped, and you definitely have to have like A++ effort and energy in your challenge groups. You need to be I actually just made a video about recruiting from your challenge groups that I think might help you guys, because what we really treat challenge groups as is just health and fitness. But imagine if you had like a self-love or positivity or personal development or meals on a budget theme or anything beyond just buy a challenge pack, here's my group. You got to really give them like more to work with, and it kind of brings so much more light to the groups. So I don't know if that helps, but my online going wellness community is like the only fix that I've had, and I have my new coaches in there, and it's up to them to keep it going, to invite their new people. So, and I'm in there too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tina?
I have a really quick question. Well, not really
Yes.
a question, more advice. So I'm literally like a week into being a coach, and I'm trying to get through all my training and stuff. Thank you so much. I'm trying to get through my training and stuff. I have a full-time job, which I love. But I'm doing this on top of it just because I love it. And I really, really want to like build a really badass business. So what's like the best piece of advice you could give me?
Wow, that's a loaded question. Okay, so I actually just did my new coach training Zoom tonight. So the first thing, as soon as you said that, is I, for some reason, attract a lot of people who love their job and don't, like, I'm like, screw any other job. This is what I'm doing forever. So for some reason, it's funny. I actually attract so many full-time workers who love their job. And so what I always tell them is you can create such a badass business because you're working full-time. So again, like that good thinking perspective. So if you can show people, how are you getting your workouts in? How are you getting your meal planning done? How are you showing up on these team calls? Like, how is Amanda making this happening? I can't talk. How is Amanda making this happen? While working a full-time job, you're going to be able to inspire a lot of people. So your social media, especially where, you don't have all the time in the world to just mess around on YouTube and Google and, you have other things going on, right? You need to be super badass on your social media because that is what, that's the glue for your business. So when you're adding new friends, if your social media is dead, adding new friends doesn't matter, right? They're going to be like, who's this person? She's got nothing going on. Like, why is she friend requesting me? But if you have awesome stuff on your social media, you're going to have people watching you and you're going to get likes and gain momentum. And then the other half of that is if you have awesome social media, when you are messaging people saying, hey, love your glasses, love your hair, or whatever your, passions are, they're going to be like, hey, I've been watching you and you are just so inspiring. Your conversations are going to be so much easier. So number one rule, your social media needs to be badass and emulate top coaches. Like Sam has awesome social media. I crave her social media. I truly would go to Samantha's page to pull up what she did for today, right? I'm sure you guys do too. So it's not you're going to copy her, but you're going to emulate the type of energy and passion she's bringing. The second thing is, to answer your question, your tips for a new coach, is don't try to learn it all and then apply it. Just do your social media, engage in the community, and commit to the best that you can. My golden rule, and Sam just learned this last week, my golden rule is if I can put my head on my pillow at nighttime and say, high five, Colleen, you rocked that day, I'm at peace with myself. And I'm not beating myself up, feeling overwhelmed. I have my 5 to-do list items before I go to bed on my literally to-do list. So when I wake up in the morning, I have number 1, 2, and I have all my things I need to do. And if you're busy, I'm sure to-do lists will be everything for you. So again, instead of being like, I have to wait to do my whole training before I can actually start sharing on social media, just kind of go with the flow as you're learning as well. Ta-da! That's like my 10-minute answer for you.
I love it. It's great. Is there anybody else who had anything else they wanted to ask? I know for myself, I was curious about you're in 7-star diamond qualifications right now. How do you get your coaches started off? Like, what do you do? Do you put them through like a coach training? Is your coach basics an ongoing coach basics? Do you use the template on the online office, things like that?
Good question. So this hopefully will be less than 5-minute answer, but that's a good question. I'm looking at the time because I want to respect everyone's time. But I also forgot to add that I've lost 5 diamonds this year. I could be a 15 superstar diamond coach right now. And 5 of my best coaches quit this past year. And it was a huge blow to the gut because most people would be like, what's wrong with me? What did I do, right? You can't beat yourself up when people quit. It's just you have to blinders on and focus on your journey. If I let those 5 coaches quit and derail me, I would be destroyed. I would have no business. I would be so upset. And so I know I'll say to scare you guys, I say it because when you want to be a 7-star diamond coach or whatever you want to be in terms of rank, because rank isn't everything. I actually chase income, so it's taken me forever to get this far. But I always have people who quit and fall off. So it's like a constant process. So mastering your mindset's important. But the biggest thing for me is I have a welcome email, which I'm sure we all do. I keep it fun. I keep it light. I give them action items. And this is probably the most important thing. Your new coach needs to be sending you back a new coach questionnaire. I have one if you guys want it, but here's why. Because if someone joins my team and is like, I'm all in, and they don't send me back a new coach questionnaire, how all in are they? Right? I'm here to work with the willing. And I can't do a getting started right phone call or tell them what they should be doing if I don't know what their goals are. Because if Sam came to me and was like, I want to make 6 figures, I'm going to treat her different than someone that's like, I don't really know if this is what I want to do. So it's very important to understand your coach's goals so that you can help them. The other thing that I do after that is Brittany Leggett and Katie Hefner inspired me when I was stalking their YouTubes as a new coach to make a Getting Started Right webinar. I'm actually revamping it as we speak. So I emulated what successful people did. I took their webinar, I made my own slides, and I recorded it, and it's embarrassingly horrible. Now that I look back at it, I want to cringe, and I'm like afraid to give it to people because I'm so different now. But I did it anyway, and it's helped my business for the last few years. So they have a Getting Started Right webinar that helps a new coach just kind of woo-saw everything that's going on in their head. I give them all the tips that I possibly can. I tell them what they should be focusing on. And then I, last year in July, actually went to a self-paced, I call it a jumpstart training instead of, like Coach Basics. I made my own outline with my success partner based on what I thought a new coach needed. I'm also revamping that before the cruise because things have changed so much. But I used to do groups, but it drives me crazy when people don't engage. Like I literally want to just reach through my screen sometimes. So I was like, fine. The people who want it are going to do this no matter what. So I put it into a self-paced document because not everyone is a groups person. And that's not fair to the people who are self-paced. Like if my coach was to give me a 20-day training on how to be successful, I would have probably stayed up for 4 days and done it or something. But not everyone's like that. Some people want the groups. So I'm still kind of toying around with that, but it's an 18-day jumpstart with what I believe is everything that a new coach needs to know. And I help them get posting on social media right away. That's my last tip. So it's not that they're going through 18 days of training and then posting. I tell them, I say, be normal. Be a professional storyteller. If you have kids, pull the mom card. Okay, I don't have kids, so I pulled the dog mom card. Everything you do with your kids, I'm sure, people love that so much. Whatever your passions may be, people they're nosy. It's make your timeline like a reality show. Not drama, but interesting. Educate people, inspire people. So that's what I help my new coaches with. Oh, I did. I think I did longer than 5 minutes, but I tried.
I love the tip about, making your timeline like your reality show.
Yeah.
Such a great tip.
Yes. We get paid to be professional storytellers. It's not, I did my workout today, flex. It's how did you feel during your workout? How did you feel before your workout? How did you feel after your workout? Tell a story, and that will completely change your business.
I think when you guys, when you get off this call, you go and check out Colleen and you hit the follow button and you follow her and you start seeing over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see that she is a master storyteller. And it's nothing fancy. And from what I see of recent photos, you're not editing photos and making them super fancy and wasting your time doing that. You're writing and telling your story. And
you guys do upgrade your cell phone, get what you need to get to make, because your photos need to stand out in the newsfeed. And so the angles, the lighting, this is your storefront. And you're not selling Beachbody, you're selling you. Not how you look, not how your six-pack is. Someone will join you. Oh, they will join you because you're consistent and showing up. People are waiting for you to quit, right? Oh, I just signed up. They're like, yeah, right, you're going to quit in 2 weeks. You got to show up all the time and look professional. That doesn't mean suit and tie, but you got to stand out somehow. So remind yourself that you're selling you in the newsfeed. Why does someone want to come to your page? Why does someone want to join you? Because there's 420,000 coaches, right? That's why you have to share your story. No one has my doggies. No one has my husband's story. So I got to share that. Sorry, I think I cut you off.
No, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. All right. Well, yeah, I want to make sure that we respect everybody's time as well. Thank you so much for being willing to get on this call tonight. I so appreciate it. I can't wait for next week. And thank you guys all for being here tonight. And we'll have the recording up as soon as possible. So
thank you.
Thank you, Colleen.
You're welcome.